Take us to business school.
My journey, really the first stable business model we took was franchising. So we started with some of that and learned that world and realizing, okay, not only can we own multiple quick service restaurants through Disrupt Food, which is our holding company, but those areas that those stores are in our communities, which means that we are employing people who look like us.
What stores are those? What stores are those?
So we have about 12 Papa John's right now. We're expanding. We're deal to do 30 in the next couple of years, and so that was kind of the first ring. And it's like, okay, that is stable. We start to look at fashion. I have my own fashion company, Damari, that we do custom suits. And then we started to look at, so there's these aspirational things, and then there's just good business, real estate, franchising, venture capital investing. Those things are all just normal things. And as athletes, most people want us in their deals. And so as we look, I got linked up with a guy by the name of Rashawn Williams, who's advised, many Black celebrities and athletes in investing in venture capital space. He's the one who got Nas to start up Queensbridge Ventures and made Nas way more money investing than he ever made rapping. And so myself and Rolando went to his house in Atlanta, and he kind of just broke down, this thing. And what he does is he manages people with way more money than I have, but he'll cut out a couple, $1 million for his friends and close network. And so what we did then is say, well, fine. I know that there's a ton of athletes and peers like me who want access to these deals, but don't know where to go or can't continue to cut large checks. And so we'll do what everybody else in this space does that we don't really know about, is work together. And so we created Broad Street Ventures, which is a venture capital fund that's $10 million fund. That's all the investors are Black and brown, most of which are athletes and entertainers, and are managed completely by Black and brown people, Rolanda Johnson being one of the general partners. And so now we're able to take our money together, put it next to the people who are already making money, and tap into that, to those deals. And we're talking about deals like Airbnb, Zenwater, the top deals out there that, all of the top venture capital funds are making money off of. We can put our money next to that because we have one thing that the majority of people don't have, and that's social capital. It's good for people to want to say, hey, our investors are these NFL players or these athletes or these entertainers. So it's very easy for us to get access to it, especially when we come collectively.
Here's what's interesting. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to take a moment just in case so it's digestible. You are talking about taking your social capital, the fact that you have a name, that you and other athletes are known, that what you do for your quote unquote 9 to 5 is put you in a position to be in rooms of people who just want to be in business with you. To me, that is the American way. Like if you ain't doing that, then you should figure out how to do it. So these are the things that you are taking and investing, right? So the Papa John's that you talk about, the clothing company, you have this, I like to say, and I'll say it so that it makes sense, the school of business. Come join me. I can tell you where you can put your money and you can make more money. You're talking about, you used to mention Nas. Like, to me, that just makes sense. Like, Nas is making way more money not rapping than what he's doing, because it's the longevity of it all. You're not rapping forever. You're not playing football forever. But you also have another arm in which you exercise nonprofit, where you are a philanthropist, where you work in a way in which it's the social good that you're giving back off your social capital. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's those same, lessons that I'm learning, can be pushed down to the next generation. Not everybody's going to grow up and be an athlete or an entertainer, but those lessons are crucial for our, community to have impact. It's like we can change as many laws as we want, but if we don't start to change the dynamics of wealth in this country, then not much is going to change from a power dynamic. And what that is hopefully people are starting to realize that group economics is the number one tool to grow any kind of wealth, especially when you don't have a lot of capital. It mitigates your risk, and working together. When it doesn't work, it's less risk on everybody, but also you can.
So I need to get all my homies together that are on TV, and we take all our capital, and the way 100%. That we make sure it mitigates our risk, like we come together. That's our group. That's our power right there, and that's how we invest. I'm translating because you're giving me my education as well.
I'll agree. Yeah,
Mm,
exactly. Because, for me, I can, if you say I'm gonna take $100,000 and invest that, well, the deals that we like, they're asking for $50,000 checks. That means I'm only able to
mm-hmm.
invest in two of them, at my budget. But all of a sudden, 10 of us come together, and now we can invest in, 10 times as many companies. It's more likely that we'll actually get our return back, because you're going to win some, you're going to lose
Fair.
some. And then back to the foundation piece of it, it's really just pushing those lessons down to the next generation. Whether it's financial literacy, it's understanding non-traditional jobs, like going into the workforce, not just to go to school, get to a job that's not going to cover your student loans, and then work till retirement and have nothing for it. It's like, how do you go into it and
Mm-hmm.
be a creator? How are especially people who love football? I'm like, look at all the jobs around the sport that aren't on the field, from the officiating to the science to the production to the journalists to the
Mm-hmm.
graphic designs. There's so many other creative things around the
Mm-hmm.
sport that oftentimes we don't talk to our kids about. Right? We talk to them about being on the field, and if they can't be on the field, it's like,
Yeah.
he's gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, or
Other
something else. It's
things.
so many other things that uh, this new generation has a creative eye for. They're already intuitive with it. This TikTok and
They
all these
know.
things, they're creating content creators at a very young age. So they have to really start to see these things as avenues for entrepreneurship, and they
And
need
if
those
you are
examples.
living this example, I do have to ask this, as I am thinking of all the opportunities that you've created for yourself and for other people. When you and I'm taking it on the field here, when you think about when you first got drafted, what was the end game? When you first got drafted as a young buck, a rook in all of this, the end game wasn't let me have
Hmm.
NFTs, let me build, let me be this. Like this is a transformation in front of our eyes, our very eyes. You know that, right? What was the end
Yeah.
game?
I do. I think, I really didn't know.
Mm,
Again, I was on a conveyor belt, right? So everybody had the same goals when you come in. I want to play for as long as I can. I want to make it to the Hall of Fame and make as much. I want to be the top paid
that's it.
guy. And then it's like,
Yeah.
that's it. I think I did well. And it was like, once I left the Saints, I had to really like think like, okay, the Hall of Fame is great, but like honestly, I had given up on the dream. It's like, I don't think that's gonna be for me. And it's like, I might be one contract
Mm,
away from being out of the league. So being the highest paid, nah, that's not a thing. And you start to realize like all of that stuff I have value, but it's not what I value. And I had to really, so what we've been witnessing over the last really 7 years is me exploring myself and doing it while I'm an active player. And I've done that purposely because I know that there aren't a lot of examples of active players doing things that they just want to do, exploring themselves outside of their perspective or their
it's
sports,
very few.
because that's just not what we do,
Very
right? We wait
few.
till we're done. Yeah, we wait till we're done playing to try to do that or figure that out, and then nobody cares who we are at that
Yeah.
point. It's very hard to do that. And so, for me, it just it like what else do I like? What else? And so there's a creative piece to my businesses as well. So I started Listen Up Media, which is my production company. So I want to get into storytelling. We already have a documentary, Black Boys, that's on Peacock. Working on writing things like that.
Time out. That's when you get all the
And then
stuff made.
obviously
You get everything you want to get
just
made right now. Make it be super super dope while you playing, and then when you graduate, when you leave, when you graduate onto life, civilian life, if you will, then that's when you already made a name for yourself. That's what I see.
yeah,
Like I love that for you. I love that you know that
exactly.
that's where you have your leverage. And you mentioned a few players. I can count on two hands, maybe if I'm lucky, the players across all disciplines that are really affecting change while still playing. It's hard to do. You have to have a really awesome team in place. Do you feel like you have that foundation around you thus far?
That was the best thing that I've ever done. And I'm like, I tell as many guys this as I can when they start to ask, like, okay, how are you doing all of these things? Is because, you so many people are gonna make money off of you, right? And they're gonna ask you to invest in their stuff so that they can build their companies and their infrastructure to make them more money. And it's like, as an athlete or anybody with a high net worth, you hit the lottery tomorrow. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
invest into your infrastructure around you, then the only, you know, as far as you can go, your ceiling is based off of your own strength and expertise. And I don't know about everybody else, but like my strength and expertise up until probably recently is in football. It's like I hadn't never had a job anywhere else, never had an internship anywhere else. So how can I expect to take the money that I've made and then flip that in some and become a, you know, crazy business savvy person? No, I gotta invest in people around me who are smarter than me in different areas. And so Malcolm Inc. is all, you know, people I grew up with who look like me, who are in their own professional fields, who were making money for other corporations. And I said, nah, let's do this together. Let's come together. All of us have some ownership in what we're doing. And you can do exactly what you've been doing for these companies for us.